If my people would ever learn how to rest in my rest and put their trust solely in me, then they'll realize that there is no such thing as a 911 emergency. They'll understand that their 911 emergency fails to stir up an urgency in me, because see, an emergency is defined as a delicate matter of kind that would require an immediate intervention. But I move at my own pace, and did I mention I'm still there, but when I move, I always move right on time. You don't believe me? Let's take Egypt for an example. Didn't I lead you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage? And surely you thought that was an emergency. Or what about hell? Wasn't I the one that went into the belly of hell and led all those that's captive free from captivity? Yet you still refuse to rely on me? Okay. What about slavery? Wasn't I the one who ended the oppression of slavery and took all that was oppressed and bruised and set them at liberty liberally? I mean, literally. So if you're still made to feel oppressed and bruised and inferior by ones that present themselves as greater, it's all your fault, because I told you that greater is he in me than he that presents themselves as superior. It's funny though. When you're oppressed, you seem to cry out to me often, patiently awaiting your deliverer to send the delivery. But when you're not as oppressed, you suppress your cries, and your cries become as naught, and your deliverer becomes like God, who? Seeming to be too busy to continue to commune with me, seeming to have easily forgotten all about me. But I remain true. I remain faithful to my word, because I need my word to remain faithful to you. So you should consider yourselves lucky that my love for you is still without condition, because if my love for you was as fickle as your love is for me, I would have left you in that oppressed appearance of a condition so you could continue to cry out to me often, and at least I can get that kind of attention. But I told you that I would never leave you nor forsake you. And times pass, and even into this day, and this still remains true. So even though you wasn't aware, even though you failed to recognize me, still I was there. Even though you chose never to call, even when the buildings fell, I didn't stop the fall, but still I was there in the midst of it all. I was on that plane with my hand-picked saints, who I knew had the mentality to take back what was theirs, to save the lives of others. And that's what they believed in and died for, so that's why they're called martyrs. And for those that was on that plane whose hearts were so instinctively good that they assisted my people, they don't know that, but their good intentions sowed into their salvation, and I will count it towards their righteousness. And I was in those buildings, all of them. So if you had another verse to sing in life, I didn't allow the curtains to close on you that day. Instead, I made you late for work, because I ordained you for cruising instead of your usual zooming. And it was I who sent you down from floor 91 to floor 21 before the disastrous deed was done, because I knew how much time you needed to make it down to the ground, because I knew just how fast you were capable of moving. And I was there for my people with asthma, because I put the right people in the right places that wouldn't be so quick to step over them to save themselves, but rather stop and assist them in catching their breath, so that they too can agree in strength and go and assist someone else. And it was I who sent you out for coffee, because I knew that you would panic and freeze, and I allowed sickness to overtake you, because I knew if you was there, if you didn't get everyone else out before yourself, that you would refuse to leave, and thus you would have died, because your heart is first rate, but thus your life was spared, because I'm going to have to call on that kind of selfishness again at another date. You heard me ask the question, "O death, where is thy sting?" Because if I could find it, I would acknowledge it, but I can't acknowledge it because it doesn't exist. But you all would know that, because if you knew that, then you would have testified of it, and if you could testify of it, that means you're not here anymore, because you experienced it. But remember, I wrote of Enoch's testimony, for Enoch walked with me, and then he wasn't, because I took him with me. Listen, when you walk with me, when it's your turn to punch out on life, I'm going to send the angels and the chariots for you, and they're going to crack the door and say, come with the king, and in the blink of an eye, your body is vacant. Understand, my people never even felt the impact of the plane. Bodies being crushed in the rubble, flesh being burnt in the flames. Because to be absent from the body is to be present with the king, and when you're in the presence of the king, death has no sting. See, I'm omnipresent, but choose to be where you invite me. Joyful, but full of joy for those that delight in me. All the safety and security you would ever need if you acknowledge me as your salvation. And yes, I can and I will restore it all if you just see me as Jehovah, your restoration. Y'all remember those rules? Those same rules that invited my presence out of your children's schools. Oh, I am the sovereign one, and I can do whatsoever I want, whenever I want, and how. But what I want is for you to be a free will agent with the free will of voice and choice. So if you choose to walk with me, then let's walk. But if not, then you choose to let me allow what you allow. And when your way fails, and it will, I need you to remember these words I say unto you today. If my people that are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven. Then will I heal their land. Then will I begin to sustain their life again. Don't worry about any kind of 911 emergencies.